These AI animated story videos are getting millions of views. And in just 42 videos, this channel has already gained over 4 lakh subscribers. According to Social Blade estimates, it's estimated to earn anywhere between 5,000 and 95,000 US dollars per year. And the interesting part is this isn't just one successful channel. There are many more channels uploading AI animated stories, getting millions of views, and building a great source of income. Now, you might be thinking that creating these cinematic animated stories requires expensive software, advanced editing skills, or even a complete production team. But that's no longer the case. Today, all you need is a simple story idea, and Pippit AI can transform that idea into a complete, cinematic animated story with just a few simple steps. So, in today's video, we're going to explore Pippit AI and see whether it can actually create a complete cinematic animated story from scratch. So, without wasting any more time, let's get started. Inside Story Studio, you can either upload your own script or use the AI scriptwriter. For this demo, I'll create a fantasy story called The Little Fox and the Firefly. After entering the story idea, Story Studio generates a complete story structure. What's interesting isn't just the script generation. It's how Story Studio immediately starts organizing the entire production pipeline. Next, I need to choose a visual style. Story Studio includes a large style library with options ranging from live action to animation and cinematic storytelling. For this project, I'm choosing 3D cartoon. This becomes the visual foundation for the entire series. As you can see, every scene now follows the same artistic direction, creating a much stronger visual identity from the beginning. That's especially important when you're creating recurring story content instead of a single video. Now we arrive at the most important part of Story Studio, Canvas. This is where Story Studio feels less like a generator and more like a creative co-pilot. Instead of managing dozens of folders and prompts manually, everything lives inside one organized workspace. Characters, scenes, locations, assets, episodes. Everything stays connected. Here you can see all the story elements organized together inside Canvas. Let's start with the characters. Story Studio automatically creates character profiles based on the story. But what I really like is that I can refine every character before generating anything. I can edit descriptions, upload references, adjust visual details, or generate new variations. To create high-quality character assets, I'll use Nano Banana Pro. Notice how the character maintains a consistent appearance across different views and scene setups. This is incredibly useful when you're building multi-episode stories because character consistency is usually one of the hardest problems in AI storytelling. Canvas also allows me to manage environments and scenes. Instead of treating every shot as a separate generation, I can connect locations and story moments together. Here I'm organizing key locations that will appear throughout the story. Because these assets stay connected inside Canvas, the entire project becomes much easier to manage as it grows. This is what makes Story Studio feel like a real production workspace rather than just another AI video tool. Once the characters and story assets are ready, this is where Story Studio starts turning the story structure into actual cinematic scenes. Instead of creating every shot from scratch, Canvas keeps all the story elements connected: characters, locations, visual references, and scene logic. Here's the final scene we're going to create. You can see the little fox walking through the glowing forest, meeting the firefly, with consistent characters and cinematic camera movements. But the interesting part is how this scene was built. Inside Canvas, every element of the story is organized as connected nodes. The character node stores the fox's appearance and visual references. The scene node defines the forest environment. And by connecting these elements together, Story Studio understands the relationship between characters, locations, and story moments. For example, I can select this scene node and refine the details. I can adjust the scene description, update visual references, or modify the creative direction before generating. Once everything is ready, Story Studio automatically creates the shot structure for this episode. Instead of writing every camera shot manually, the system breaks the scene into detailed cinematic shots based on the story flow. Now let's bring these shots to life. Using Seedance 2.0 Mini, Story Studio transforms these planned shots into video sequences. The model keeps the character appearance, scene style, and visual continuity consistent across different moments. Here is the final result.
Be swift. Be safe.
I will not fail. Faster. I have to be faster.
Stay back!
Notice how the camera movement, character animation, and scene transitions all work together to create a complete cinematic sequence. Creating the first version is only the beginning. The real advantage of Story Studio is that you can continue refining your story without rebuilding everything. For example, if a scene doesn't feel right, I can return directly to Canvas and make adjustments. Maybe the camera angle needs to change, maybe the lighting needs more atmosphere, or maybe I want to update the character expression. Because all assets are connected inside Canvas, I can simply modify the related node and regenerate the scene. I don't need to recreate the entire project from the beginning. After refining the details, the updated scene keeps the same character identity and visual style while improving the final result. And now, the entire story comes together. From the original idea to character creation, scene planning, video generation, and final refinement, Story Studio brings the whole AI storytelling workflow into one connected workspace. With Canvas managing the creative structure, Nano Banana Pro helping maintain character consistency, and Seedance 2.0 mini-generating cinematic scenes, creating AI animated stories becomes much easier to scale. The creators building AI story channels today aren't just making videos, they're building scalable content systems. With Pippit Story Studio, you can create consistent characters, connected scenes, and cinematic stories without needing a full production team. Now you can spend less time worrying about production and more time creating stories your audience wants to watch. Start your AI storytelling journey with Pippit Story Studio today. Link in bio.